Compared to many of her siblings, Jinger Duggar has been a little more outspoken ever since she got married and moved to Los Angeles. Jinger Duggar has re-examined her upbringing within the IBLP faith in the years that have passed since Josh Duggar was initially arrested. In the most recent interview, she discusses her genuine feelings on her history and the ways in which she is attempting to bring up her children in a more healthy manner. Continue reading to find out the details. On the IBLP, Jinger Duggar discusses her troubled past in an open and honest manner. The rigorous principles that the IBLP promotes are well known to those who are already familiar with the Duggar family. However, now that the majority of the Duggar children are adults, a few of them have separated from the family. Jinger is now relating her own personal experience. "We're sitting down with Jinger Duggar. Yeah, that Jinger from 19 Kids and Counting," Leckrey wrote on Instagram. "Let's enjoy this opportunity together. But believe me when I say that her narrative is much more profound than anything you watched on television." Under the leadership of Bill Gothard, she opens up about her experiences growing up in a fear-based system, the push to achieve perfection, and what it is like to break free while being subjected to a religious system that is similar to a cult. Today on the B-Side app at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time and on YouTube at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. Let's go to the very end of the road. Jinger states in the video clip, "We held to this teacher as a prophet sent from God," while a picture of Bill Gothard shows in the background simultaneously. In addition to not listening to any music that featured drumming, we would only wear skirts. If you play music that features drumming, you are essentially summoning devils. So my music was taken off the air? Let's ask Leckrey. Jinger substantiates that it was. However, as you get older, you take a step back and ask yourself, okay, what are the things that really matter? It wasn't until much later when we were going through a lot of hardships in public that one of my brothers made decisions that were extremely poor and ultimately led to his being incarcerated, Jinger added as clips from Josh Duggar's arrest and mugshot flashed across the screen. At that moment, I came to the realization that some people are considering this to be Christianity. This is not, however, the message that the gospel conveys. According to what she shared with Leckrey, someone needs to speak up for the glory of God here. Towards the end of the preview, Leckrey inquires of Jinger whether or not she is of the opinion that the IBLP was a cult. As the video comes to a close, the former reality star begins to explain the mental process that she went through. The vulnerability of the former reality star is praised by the audience. The comment section was left by Jill, Jinger's sister, who simply stated, "Jinger's bravery to speak up and her vulnerability were singled out for admiration by other Instagram users." They went on to say, "When I was 3 years old until I was 6 years old, my family struggled with the IBLP. Really, this is happening. Thank God, my parents were able to recognize the problems and get us out of there." Incredible selection. One of my favorites is in her. Totally looking forward to this one. It is true. It is correct to say that. The definition of a cult. Wow, I just adore this. For the first time, I have been keeping an eye on them. Please visit this link to view the complete interview with Jinger Duggar. Jinger Duggar recently conducted an interview with Leckrey. Have you had the opportunity to listen to it? How did you feel about it? In the comments section, please share your own ideas. If you want to stay up to speed with the most recent news and developments regarding the Duggar family, make sure to follow Bombshell25 online. For years, the Duggar family has been a household name, their lives chronicled on television in the hit reality series 19 Kids and Counting and its spin-off Counting On. The family's traditional Christian values, ultra-conservative approach to parenting, and large, loving family dynamic made them beloved by many viewers. But behind the smiling faces and seemingly perfect family portrait, there have been secrets, controversies, and personal struggles that would eventually shatter the carefully crafted image of the Duggars. One of the most significant and painful chapters in the Duggar family's history revolves around the actions of their eldest son, Josh Duggar. In 2015, Josh was publicly outed for molesting several of his younger sisters when he was a teenager, a revelation that rocked the family and their followers to the core. The ensuing scandals, including his involvement in a cheating scandal and later being convicted of possessing child sexual abuse material, further tarnished the Duggar name and caused deep divides within the family. While many of Josh's siblings have remained silent on the subject, one Duggar child, Jinger has recently found the courage to speak out. Known for her independent spirit and her more progressive views compared to the rest of the family, Jinger's willingness to break her silence about Josh, his demons, and the family's complex journey through pain and healing is both raw and deeply personal. Jinger's decision to open up about these painful family dynamics is a pivotal moment in her journey, and her story is one of resilience, healing, and coming to terms with the complexities of forgiveness, trauma, and family. In this candid reflection, Jinger shares her emotional journey, the lasting effects of her brother's actions, and how she has navigated her own path toward healing. The Duggar family, a legacy of faith, family, and secrets. The Duggar family rose to fame with their show 19 Kids and Counting, which first aired in 2008. The series followed Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar and their 19 children, showcasing their ultra-conservative lifestyle, strong Christian values, and their decision to raise their children with traditional beliefs about marriage, gender roles, and family. The family was celebrated for their commitment to modesty, homeschooling, and a strict adherence to biblical teachings. For years, the Duggars were the poster family for conservative Christianity, with their public image reflecting a picture-perfect, idealized life. However, beneath the surface, the family was not as perfect as it appeared on television. As the oldest son, Josh Duggar was often the focus of attention. As a child, Josh was raised with the same values as his siblings, but his actions, particularly as a teenager, would later come to define his legacy in the public eye. In 2015, a bombshell was dropped when it was revealed that Josh had molested several of his younger sisters when he was a teenager. This revelation came after a report was leaked to the press, forcing the Duggar family to address the long-buried allegations. The scandal caused an immediate fallout, not just for Josh, but for the entire Duggar family. The once immaculate reputation of the Duggars was now tainted with allegations of abuse, deceit, and scandal. The Duggar family's response to the scandal was widely criticized. Instead of offering a public apology or seeking to address the pain Josh had caused, the family chose to frame the situation as one of forgiveness and redemption. The Duggars continued to stand by Josh, emphasizing his rehabilitation and claiming that he had repented for his actions. This response, however, did not sit well with many, particularly those who felt that the severity of the situation was being minimized. For Jinger Duggar, this scandal hit especially close to home. As a young woman who had been raised in the same home as Josh, she witnessed the fallout from his actions firsthand. While she never publicly spoke about her brother's crimes, it was clear that the pain and trauma left in the wake of the scandal was something that would affect the family for years to come. Josh's demons, a family struggling with the unspoken. Jinger has often been seen as one of the more independent-minded Duggar children. After marrying Jeremy Vuolo in 2016 and moving to Los Angeles, Jinger began to embrace a more modern lifestyle, one that diverged from the traditional values of her upbringing. Her willingness to step away from the family's strict rules, such as dressing modestly and following rigid gender roles, earned her both praise and criticism from various corners of the Duggar family community. But even as Jinger embraced her new life with Jeremy, the shadow of Josh's actions continued to loom large. For years, Jinger and her family chose not to speak out about the pain they had endured as a result of Josh's behavior. There were whispers of unresolved trauma, of siblings who struggled to cope with the abuse, and of a family forced to reconcile their faith with the reality of what had transpired. In recent months, however, Jinger decided it was time to break her silence. In a rare and candid interview, Jinger reflected on her feelings about Josh, his actions, and the lasting impact they've had on her family. She spoke about the complexity of forgiveness, the struggle to reconcile the faith she had been raised with, and the deep wounds that remained. "I've carried a lot of pain from what happened with Josh," Jinger admitted. "For years, I didn't know how to process it. It was like we were all supposed to just move on and pretend like nothing had happened, but the reality is that there were so many broken pieces. My family went through something that changed us all." Jinger spoke candidly about how Josh's actions and their subsequent fallout had forced the family to confront deep-rooted issues of shame, guilt, and secrecy. "We were taught to present this image of a perfect family," she said. "But behind closed doors, we were all struggling in different ways. We were hurting, but no one knew how to talk about it. It wasn't until later that I realized how much that silence had hurt me. One of the most painful aspects of the scandal was the lack of support and validation for the victims, Jinger's younger sisters. While Josh's actions were publicly acknowledged, the emotional damage inflicted on the victims was often brushed aside in favor of emphasizing Josh's path to redemption. Jinger explained that, for her, the most difficult part was watching her sisters, some of whom were minors at the time of the abuse, try to navigate the public fallout while receiving little emotional support. "It's hard to even put into words how painful it was to watch," Jinger said, her voice breaking. "The way it was handled was not fair to my sisters. They were the ones who needed the healing, the love, and the space to process what had happened. Instead, we were all expected to just forgive and forget. But forgiveness isn't a simple thing. It's something that takes time, and sometimes it feels impossible. The road to healing, forgiveness, and boundaries." In her interview, Jinger spoke at length about the process of forgiveness. She emphasized that forgiveness does not mean forgetting or excusing someone's actions. For Jinger, it was a difficult journey of coming to terms with her brother's behavior and deciding how to move forward in a healthy way. "I've had to learn that forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook for their actions," she explained. "It's about releasing the hold that anger, bitterness, and resentment have on me. It's about finding peace for myself, even if the person who hurt me isn't ready to change." Jinger also discussed the importance of setting boundaries within her family. As she and Jeremy built their life together in Los Angeles, Jinger began to realize that she needed to protect her own mental and emotional health as well as the well-being of her children. This meant reevaluating her relationship with certain family members, including Josh. "It's been hard to come to terms with the fact that I can't just blindly accept everything that happened and move on," Jinger shared. "There are people I love, but I also have to protect myself and my family. That means setting boundaries, even if it means not having the same relationship I once had with certain people. It's been a process of learning to prioritize healing over family loyalty." A message of hope. Despite the pain and trauma that has marked much of Jinger's life, she remains hopeful for the future. She speaks of a journey towards self-empowerment, growth, and healing, and the importance of allowing herself to feel the full spectrum of emotions in order to move forward. "I'm not the same person I was before all of this happened," Jinger confessed. "But I'm learning to embrace who I am now, and that's a journey that I'm still on. There's still a lot of work to do, but I'm